As 2021 was gradually wrapping up, it's impossible to miss the crucial breakthrough that happened right at the end. Like an unexpected Christmas gift, our young startup Neural Nest landed a crucial partnership with a front-running technology corporation, an absolute game-changer by any stretch. This accomplishment was far from the glossed-up sudden luck often illustrated in glossy business magazines. It was an immaculate blend of our relentless perseverance, countless meetings, a handful of irreplaceable team members, and faith that stretched across our mighty band of pioneers. This was no ordinary victory. It was a validation, a heightened sense of purpose, and a beacon leading us forward into exciting quarters. In a fiercely competitive landscape, such a powerful alliance amplified our credibility and catalyzed our future trajectory. I remember walking out from the official partnership meeting, the December chill running its fingers through my hair, the city lights reflecting in my eyes, a victorious grin finding a home on my face. As I journeyed back to the warmth of home, my phone persistently buzzed with congratulatory messages, resounding echoes of our collective triumph. My heart was filled with enormity, reflecting the magnitude of the victories of the day. Yet this victory was more than just a professional achievement. For me, it was a tapestry of relentless dreams woven into reality, layered with sleepless nights and surmounting challenges. It was realization knocking on the doors of our starry-eyed visionaries, telling us that we can carve out our own destiny in this ostensibly complex world. I remember sitting on my apartment window that night, the city skyline a lit testament to mankind's dreams, thinking on how far we had come. If someone had told the 10-year-old Chris, freshly relocated to the US from South Korea, that he would someday pioneer a global startup, he might sigh in disbelief. Yet today, I held those dreams in my hands, a tangible entity, a talisman of ambition sealed with perseverance. Way beyond just adding a feather to our cap, the partnership unfurled exciting avenues for future growth and innovation. The partnership didn't merely spell growth in a linear sense. It continued to nurture our dreams, leaves to a sapling being nurtured by the gentle warmth of the sun. It was a collaborative intersection where minds met, ideas resonated, and a mutual vision was shared. I was pulling together a team that didn't rest on past laurels, but constantly chased innovation, pursuing the art of turning novel ideas into functional realities. And boy, were we just getting started. As impressive as this monumental partnership appeared, and believe me, it genuinely was, the year 2023 had even loftier scale awaiting for us. The expansion of Neural Nest grew rapidly, reaching organizations in almost 50 countries by mid-year. Imagine, a tremendous technological voyage that started with a few soldering irons and lines of code in a small Berkeley dorm room, now stood on the world stage with an audience spanning culturally and geographically diverse nations. In the thick of this professional whirlwind, every day was a race against ticking clocks and escalating deadlines. Spare moments that I might have devoted to personal pursuits disappeared. The startup demanded my full attention. All familiar routines were eclipsed by this unremitting professional mission, daring me to chart an unorthodox journey. Roles transformed in an ever-shifting landscape, morphing into duties that I never imagined when we first dreamt of Neural Nest. Days turned into an endless orchestra of innovation, exertion, and intermittent celebrations that were as much about relief as they were about achievement. Every challenge surmounted was an insistent reminder of the unexplored challenges still to be navigated. The trade-off for professional victory was echoed in the striking absence of me-time. A dichotomy was forming between the charismatic entrepreneur whom everyone admired and the private individual with his own pursuit of peace. The dinner tables once laden with the warmth of homemade meals were now occupied by blueprints and spreadsheets. Fitness regimes were replaced by impromptu meetings and urgent problem-solving sessions. The pursuit of growth and expansion cast a loud echo that drowned out the whispers of relaxation and peace. Amidst all these, I was starting to realize the immense price we sometimes pay in the pursuit of dreams. The internal turmoil was invisible to the outside world as we continued to celebrate each milestone while suppressing the burgeoning anxieties. But as they say, you can only gloss over the cracks for so long. The burgeoning chaos from the increasing demands of Neural Nest finally manifested itself in the days of midsummer in 2023. In the midst of an otherwise normal day, an unexpected dread took hold of me, a frantic, paralyzing anxiety that gripped me tightly. The world seemed to spin faster, and my breaths fell short as an overpowering anxiety attack hit me. The experience was a loud, merciless cry for attention, a blunt reminder of the mounting pressure and expectation I had been shouldering for so long. The experience jolted me to the core, laying bare the realization that my emotional fortitude was starting to crack under pressure. Behind the achievements and celebrations, the anxiety was gnawing at me, inching its way into my daily life and demanding to be addressed. A physical suffering now accompanied the mental toll of leading a tech startup, threatening to shatter the facade I had maintained for so long. The intensity of the experience startled me, illuminating the fact that my seemingly unbeatable spirit was, after all, susceptible to the crushing reality we all know as human vulnerability. In testing times like these, my friendships provided the strength and support I needed. They were there to help me through those disorientating moments, staying by my side and lending their patience and understanding in an ordeal that demanded everything from me. Their encouragement was instrumental in navigating through the immediacy of the panic and uncertainty, easing the path towards recovery and self-care. The bonds of friendship were no longer just a source of camaraderie and shared experiences, but also a vital lifeline in what felt like a relentless storm. Recognizing the toll of my modern lifestyle brought a newfound understanding and respect for mental health. The importance of maintaining an emotional balance along with my entrepreneurial goals had never been clearer. I decided then, amidst the comforting silence of understanding and acceptance from my close-knit group of friends, to seek help. The decision to trust a professional, to unravel my anxieties and fears so that someone else could help me dissect them, was oddly empowering. With that, I took a crucial step in my journey, honoring my self-value and acknowledging the exhaustive work that goes into pioneering my own path in the tech industry. But therapy did not mean an end to my struggles. Rather, it was a beginning of acknowledging them. The journey of healing was and still is a process, an ongoing endeavor. The key was to learn, stumble, fall, and rise again, to withstand the tempests of startup life and remain grounded. Therapy sessions became critical pit stops in the race against time and space, where I paused, gasped for air, and tried understanding the crux of my anxiety. As time passed, these sessions evolved into a safe space where I could face my fears and learn strategies to manage them. Time in therapy was time invested in my well-being that went beyond the scope of a fitness regime or recreational break. Chapter 10 of my life was a stark reminder of an often overlooked reality, that pursuit of a dream, no matter how promising, should never infringe upon the sanctity of one's mental health. Balancing a growing company with my mental peace was like walking a tightrope, but with more at stake than just a successful act. Each victory was a reminder of the labyrinth of obstacles traversed, and each setback a nudge to not let the overshadowing anxieties resonate longer than they deserved. After all, Neural Nest was not just a testament to my resilience, but also a journey of understanding myself, without losing sight of who I am, amidst the whirl of achievements and expectations. I started to think of therapy less of an admission of defeat, and more of a courageous act of self-love. Acknowledging my vulnerabilities, the rawness of my anxieties and fears, took more strength than masking them behind the facade of an invincible entrepreneur. The first step was the hardest, admitting to myself that I was not omnipotent, that this superhuman image I'd constructed had started to crumble. But with each therapy session, I began to see the unraveled threads of my mental health as an opportunity for growth and understanding rather than a sign of weakness. My therapist, Dr. Mendoza, was instrumental in this process. Her assurance and professionalism made me feel comfortable and understood. We embarked on my mental health journey together, chipping away at barriers built over time, working towards a better understanding of my anxieties and developing coping mechanisms. With every session, I began to feel a little lighter, a bit more in control. The frequent panic attacks started to subside, the dark cloud of anxiety lifted slightly, and I found myself breathing a little easier. Through her counseling, I learned to decipher the dread creeping upon me, not as a beast to be feared, but simply as anxiety, a physiological response that I could question, manage, and in time, control. She guided me through techniques of cognitive behavioral therapy, which taught me how to arrest negative thought spirals, helping me regain control in seemingly overwhelming situations. These sessions became an island of calm in the churning sea of uncertainties, a respite where complex emotions and raw anxieties were not shied away from, but wrangled with. Over time, I learned to appreciate my vulnerability. I understood that acknowledging one's anxiety doesn't denote weakness. On the contrary, it's a cornerstone of resilience. I realized that my emotions weren't something to suppress or battle with, but to respect and understand. I needed to acknowledge them before I could manage them effectively. Yet, admittedly, this revelation did not come easy. The journey was fraught with difficult and uncomfortable moments of introspection. There were sessions that left me emotionally drained, instances where confronting my fears rattled me to my core. But with each passing week, I started peeling back the layers, not just of my anxieties, but also the ambitions that fueled them. I discovered that my relentless pursuit to scale Neural Nest had sidelined the pursuit of personal peace. My anxiety was not merely testament to the general stress of managing a startup, but also a reflection of the immense pressure I had put on myself to succeed, to prove to the world and to myself that my vision of making AI accessible to all was not just a pipe dream. With therapy, I began realizing the importance of balance, the essential need to look after my mental health, just as I was looking after my startup. I was finally learning to offer myself the same patience and understanding that I'd been extending to Neural Nest's technical glitches and hiccups. If Neural Nest deserved the chance of multiple debugs and constantly improving versions, why didn't its creator deserve his chance to sort through his fears, debug his stress, and upgrade his coping strategies? I continued to unravel the interplay between my professional aspirations, my personal life, and my mental health. My sessions with Dr. Mendoza started to feel like a chess game where the key was to anticipate and strategize. This analogy resonated with me, given my penchant for strategy games like Go. Anxiety was the opponent I never saw coming, but one I had to face nonetheless, bringing into play all my analytical acumen, resilience, and improvisation. I began looking at my startup, Neural Nest, and my psychotherapy sessions as two journeys I was mapping simultaneously, each lending perspective to the other. In a way, my growing understanding of Neural Nest's AI systems mirrored the insight I was gaining about my own cognitive patterns during therapy. Both taught me about learning, adaptability, and the importance of self-updates. And in doing so, I realized I was not just the developer of an AI model, but a developer of my own mental resilience. My anxiety and I began to mirror the relationship between a programmer and troublesome code. Earlier, as soon as the panic set in, I would react impulsively and try to fix the situation for quick relief. But with therapy, just like tackling a software bug, I learned to take a step back and analyze the root cause, the trigger, before responding. It was uncomfortable at first, just like poring through lines of code to pinpoint a glitch. But the feeling of success when you finally figure it out was the same, a rush of relief paired with a newfound understanding. Just like one error in coding could collapse a whole program, I found that my life too was a delicate balance, where handling one area could create a domino effect across others. It resonated with the challenges I was facing at Neural Nest. Often, even a tiny mishap could set a ripple of complications into motion. I learned not to brush these symptoms under the metaphorical rug, but look at them as signs pointing towards the problem and the solution. This was a new perspective, viewing my mental health issues not as weaknesses, but as opportunities for personal growth and understanding. Yes, there were occasional meltdowns, just as there were crashes in Neural Nest systems. In both cases, I learned to take these not as signs of failure, but as opportunities for analysis and improvement. This was similar to the process of debugging at Neural Nest, a challenge that was more revealing and rewarding than it appeared on the surface. As time went on, I found myself growing not just more patient, but also more empathic, understanding that everyone was grappling with their own set of challenges. I discovered that the same qualities that I was applying at Neural Nest, persistence, patience, constant learning and adaptation, were the ones helping me manage my mental health. This realization, that my struggles were also my strengths, that my darkest times led to my deepest learning experiences, gave me a new perspective on my own journey as well as neural nests. I used to take neural nests' bugs as personal failures, a reflection of my inadequacy. But gradually, I learned to detach my self-worth from neural nests' setbacks and view them as opportunities for growth and innovation. This new mindset gave me the freedom to fail, learn, and relentlessly move forward in the world of AI innovation and in the battleground of my mental health. I realized that both journeys were tests of resilience and determination. Both had their series of issues and fixes, and through both, I was evolving, learning, and growing. It was a makeshift balance, an understanding that came through constant rearrangement and resilience, but it somehow worked for me. Embarking on therapy, despite the initial fear and discomfort, was akin to troubleshooting code. This parallel was not just metaphorical, but was rooted in the similar analytical mindset both demanded. It was an insight into my mental bugs, their triggers, and my emotional response patterns. Just as the heart of coding lay in understanding the problem clearly before attempting to fix it, therapy too was largely about comprehending and accepting where the issue lay. In the initial sessions, it felt like being plunged into the deep end, only to realize the turmoil was simply my harbored fears, anxieties, and insecurities floating to the surface. It was a lot like creating a complex program, where the first drafts often seem tangled and chaotic, until you carefully unravel each thread to understand its purpose and position. And as those therapy discussions evolved, as my understanding deepened, I noticed a sense of calm seeping into my otherwise anxious mind. Interestingly, this mental clarity also began streamlining my thoughts and decision-making at Neural Nest. Topics that used to tie me up in knots, decisions that used to stress me out, increasingly appeared as just professional hurdles to overcome and not reflections on my personal worth. In retrospect, I believe therapy helped me build a firewall for my mental health, similar to securing the code in which Neural Nest's AI operates. Working on my mental resilience mirrored my efforts to build up Neural Nest, where a visionary idea was brought to fruition by a sturdy back-end of intricate code. I learnt to face setbacks on both fronts, understanding that not every failure was a personal reflection, but a cue to pause, analyze, and adapt. The concept of mental health went from an intimidating notion to a familiar, if not friendly, partner in my journey. Instead of shying away from my vulnerabilities, I acknowledged them, understood them, and began channeling them towards my growth, making my coping mechanisms akin to patches of updates and improvements for the AI model, necessary, timely, and crucial for longer, sustainable functioning. In fact, analogies aside, I truly believe my therapeutic journey amplified my adaptability. It offered insights into my cyclical anxiety triggers and helped cultivate an attitude of debugging, of not fearing failure, but embracing it as part of the iterative process, be it in my mental health journey or my tech entrepreneur role. The same persistence, patience, and innovative thinking that drove my vision for Neural Nest became my strategy in dealing with the nuances of anxiety disorder. Though entrepreneurship and therapy might seem worlds apart, I found in them common themes of resilience and growth. Indeed, my guardian angels turned out to be my resilience and the honesty to face my fears. These were my tools in battling the Goliaths of my world, entrepreneurial challenges and anxiety disorders. As I wielded these tools, I realized that the battleground of my mental health and the world of AI innovation weren't two separate worlds after all. They were two journeys, intertwined and shaping each other in their unique ways, both testaments to my evolving resilience. They say that pain is an important teacher, and my therapy journey underscored this in every aspect. Suffering from anxiety disorder transformed how I viewed pain, not as something utterly negative, but as a signal and a learning opportunity. Every bout of anxiety, every attack, every session in therapy, they were like alarm bells, echoing alerts in my ongoing coding project, known as life. It wasn't unlike rummaging through lines of intricate code, identifying bugs and loopholes, and rectifying them for seamless execution. I still remember my therapist's words after one particularly difficult session. "Chris, it's essential to remember that mental health is not a destination, but an ongoing journey." This resonated with my experience with Neural Nest, how we constantly upped our ante, never truly reaching a final destination, always seeking improvement, Any success in startup, much like attaining mental stability, is a continuous process of patronizing triumphs, navigating failures, and relentlessly striving to be better. Throughout my therapeutic journey, a striking revelation was how empathy came to play a critical role in both my personal and professional life. As I learned to empathize with myself, to be kinder to myself amidst my mental health struggles, it permeated my professional demeanor. It was as if a door unlocked, leading to a newfound understanding of my team's perspectives, problems, and pressures. This miraculous unlocking was similar to finally cracking an elusive algorithm, opening a world of expedited processes and efficient solutions. Funny how the world works. My battles with mental health led me to a state of vulnerability which I have never experienced before. But instead of sinking me, it gave me an invisible armor, strengthening me in unimaginable ways. My journey of self-discovery and self-improvement mirrored itself in the odyssey of building Neural Nest. The late nights battling code bugs with a whirlwind of Java syntax mirrored hours spent battling self-doubts and inner demons. With every deep dive into the hairy queries of my psyche, I was building roots, deep and sturdy. As I was sinking into the crevices of my vulnerabilities, I was also building a stronger foundation of self, much like the base code that holds up the entirety of a complex AI system. It was through this continued journey of self-growth and building Neural Nest side by side that I truly understood the weight of the phrase, "The only way out is through." Today I stand at a point in my life where I can say that therapy has changed me, much like Neural Nest has. It has been a roller coaster, an intense ride of lightning-speed coding, pitch preparations, investor meetings, intertwined with therapy sessions, self-doubt, fear, and a myriad of emotions. End of the day, both my mental health journey and the founding of Neural Nest are integral aspects of my story that have shaped the person I am today. The experiences I gained through overcoming mental challenges metamorphosed my entrepreneurial journey, impacting how I lead my team, take decisions, and strategize. Much like the AI systems we develop at Neural Nest, human beings too are unique, dynamic systems with complex layers of emotions, thought processes, and experiences. My startup journey and battle with anxiety, though polar opposite at first glance, are entwined strands of the complex code that makes up the story of my life. The interplay of perseverance, resilience, and introspection in navigating both routes has shaped me, becoming important keystones in my life's ongoing algorithm. They are indeed two parallels endearing in their idiosyncrasies, converging to script the narrative that is uniquely mine.